D&D Direct talks about playdnd.com. I clicked on it and it's just another portion of D&D Beyond. But there's something called Play Before the Storm, Start Your Journey. I think it's basically choose your own adventure kind of a thing. So let's just do it for fun. Begin your journey. Welcome to D&D. We know what D&D is. Your journey awaits. I'm ready for adventure. Your story begins in Neverwinter, a legendary city along the northwest edge of the Forgotten Realms. I'm ready to choose my hero. Every adventurer is a member of a class which broadly describes a character's calling and what skills they dedicate their lives to. There are many classes in D&D. In this adventure you'll choose from 5 classes below. Select a class to learn more about it. I am going to go Cleric. And I'm going to say, yes, that's me. So you are a Cleric. Your best abilities are Wisdom and Strength and Con. Proficient in Athletics, Intimidation, Medicine, Religion, and many weapons. You also know a few spells. You start with 11 hit points. Okay. I'm a Hill Dwarf. Fair enough. It's nice and easy for newbies, this. Dwarves are solid and hardy like the stone they are said to be created from, weathering the centuries with endurance. Okay. Your early life was spent as a soldier. Nice way to tie in your background. You trained as a soldier on the island of Mintan and joined a mercenary company. You travelled to the city of Neverwinter with your company to serve in both the army and city watch. Over time you grew disillusioned with many of your fellow soldiers. They seem to enjoy their authority at the expense of the people they're supposed to protect. I'm still ready to begin my adventure. A shadow creeps across the land like a shroud, swallowing an unknown island in darkness. You know that within the sinister cloud is a formless face of hunger and death. From above, a voice made of light calls out for you to step forward. Then you wake in a cold sweat. You've had the same disturbing dream for months, and it's made your life at the City Watch difficult. The lack of sleep causes you to doze off at your post nearly every day, and people have started to notice. You can't shake the idea that you know the place from your dreams. You recall seeing an image of a similar island inked in a tome somewhere in the archive annex. Perhaps these dreams could be a sign from your god, a calling to something more. I go to the archive annex. The Black Lake District. Inside the archive annex, the walls are filled with bookshelves containing a wealth of scrolls and tomes, both magical and mundane. The head of the establishment watches you carefully, a stern dragonborn woman with blue scales, wearing wizard robes, and carrying a mangy rat upon her shoulder. She looks disapprovingly at your muddy boots, but you walk on. A colleague told you that they saw an image of a sinister cloud, like the one in your dreams, in a book on the upper level. Now all you have to do is find the book. I climb the stairs. You begin to climb the stairs, and a stern voice calls out, I'm afraid access to the upper floor is restricted. The librarian follows you closely, suspicious of your intent and bearing a baleful scowl. You'll need to get by her somehow. What happens next is up to me. So, what do you want to do? Do I convince her, make up a book for her to find as a distraction, or run up the stairs? I am not going to do that. I'm going to cause a distraction, hopefully. You try to think up a plausible book title. So you'll roll a d20 to try and do a thing. I'll add my charisma modifier of +1. And if you were proficient in deception, you'd add your proficiency bonus. Your proficiency being things you are good at is an extra bonus of 2. But I'm not, so I only get +1. The DC, the difficulty for this is 15. Roll a d20. So I want a 14 plus the 1. It's good. 19. An exhaustive catalogue of relics from the Mythala era, you declare confidently. I am certain it's here. Can you help me find it? First she glares, then she relents. Of course, there is nothing in this place I can't find. Just before she steps away, she gives you another glance and places her rat upon a nearby bookcase. It's a watcher. The rat scurries across the tops of the furniture and sits just above you, the rat's beady, flickering eyes on you. The librarian is gone, but the glowing eyes of her rat familiar remain transfixed upon you as you skulk about. You walk about the library, but the rodent follows you. The wizard might be watching you through the rat's eyes. You'll have to find a way to deal with it. Tempt with some cheese? No. Am I going to attack it? That's probably not a good idea. figure out what it's up to. I think I'm being... Okay. It's not going to go for cheese, is it? I'm going to go for cheese. I pull out some cheese, and we'll see if I know I roll animal proficiency, which is +3 to wisdom. It's good. It's good again. Surely that passes. The rat's eyes stop glowing, and it lunges for the cheese. With its prize in hand, the rat scurries off. Clement! Come back here. Where are you going? She hurries to find it, and the rat's sudden betrayal allows you to continue up the stairs unimpeded. You make your way into the halls of the upper library. Golden filigree lines the shelves, and much of the literature glows in an array of ghostly hues. Behind a finely crafted gate made of metal bars, an open tome with bright binding catches your eye. You approach and try to swing the gate open, but it's locked. Do I look for a way to get in, open the gate with force, or let someone else open? I'm going to look around and see what can be found. Have a look about with perception. Still good. 18's pretty good. You don't see any kind of lever to open the door, nor do you see any kind of keyhole on the door. However, you do notice a couple administrators in the library with coverings over their faces. Perhaps a veil is the key you're after. Scanning the library, you spot a veil on a table nearby, near someone totally engrossed in the book. You quickly borrow it without the reader noticing. Let's have a look. Wearing the veil, you approach the gate and it clicks open, allowing you to walk through. You find the book you're looking for and rifle through the pages for key information, maps, locations and names. As you commit what you see to memory, you spot some familiar symbols. By the time you hear footsteps behind you, you've seen all you need. You slip the veil off your face, and as you do, you see the book's text transform into strange, undecipherable symbols. Perhaps the veil magically allowed you to read the book. Sorry to bother you, I'll be going. You give a curt apology to the unhappy librarian and see yourself out. The image you've been searching for depicts Stormwreck Isle, a place near Neverwinter. A remote cloister there holds a temple to the dragon god Bahamut, who is a patron of heroes and a champion of justice. Someone at the cloister may hold the key to the averting the impending doom your deity warned you of. I return home. You start walking back to the City Watch's keep. While walking through the Protector's Enclave, you hear a familiar voice. Though far off, you recognise the golden tone from your dream. Step forward. It fades behind the corner of the temple. You follow the voice around one corner, then another. Stand against the voice is drowned out by gruff laughter and the sound of something being dragged along the ground. I continue towards the sound. Just to interject, the whole Stormwreck Isle thing is the starter set adventure, the brand new starter set. Protector's Enclave in Neverwinter is the starting place in the Neverwinter PS4 game, so they're good little tie-ins. You see a tall, brawny, dragonborn woman wearing the uniform of the City Watch, heavily adorned in medals. The officer, a captain from another district you think, has the temple's head priest, a dwarf woman by the scruff of the neck. The dragonborn shakes the dwarf wildly, and the toes of the priest's shoes scuff against the ground as the dwarf tries to keep up with her feet. How high then? How high until you reach your god? The officer sneers at the priest. Any higher and you'd be up to my chin. The dragonborn hasn't seen you yet. Chastise the orc? Remove her hands from the priest? Or wait to see what this is all about? I'm going to make sure I know what's going on here. It's an insight check, body language, things like that. It seems the officer is lording her privilege over the priest, bullying. Scenes like this have made you disillusioned with purpose of the City Watch. You've heard rumours of this officer's attitude, but nothing of behaviour this bad. You hear the golden voice speak. I listen. The voice is faint. You cannot hear it over the captain's booming voice. What you need is a change in reputation. These people respect a strong personality. You could be that, right? Why don't you show them what happens to rats? It might help you get that promotion, or at least get your captain off your back for sleeping all day. She shakes her head. Not a good look for the watch, you know. Again, the voice catches your ears. I listen again. And stand against death's endless hunger, says the disembodied voice from your dreams. It's now coming from between you and the towering militant. "Give us a sign," the priest begs, looking towards the sky. No one else seems to hear the golden voice. I am going to pull the priest free and protect her. Rolling great. You wrench the priest free, sending the officer tumbling backward into a pile of garbage. A large mound of refuse explodes out as she lands on it. She shuffles upright and stares at you with hatred, a blackened banana peel covering the left half of her face. "I'll have your post, then I'll have your head, traitor. Enjoy yourself with these rats." The captain huffs and walks away. The priest looks at you with gratitude. "Thank you. Our paths are never simple." She gives you a hearty hug. "It must be a sign. I prayed for you, you see, and Bahamut delivered." She smiles, straightens her shirt, gathers a broken broom from the ground, and walks into a nearby temple. I return home. You start walking back to the keep of the City Watch, uncertain about what you'll find waiting. You come to the Watch's keep and a guard stops you at the gate. "Sorry, captain's orders," he says with a smile. You recognise him as being from the same district as the captain. Furious, you shout, "I won't be barred from my own home." Then you see the captain appear inside the keep. March up to her. You march past the guard, ignoring his protests. The captain slinks back into an empty corner of the keep, and you storm up to her. The captain releases the snap from her scabbard and draws her sword. I'd call you a dog, but at least a dog has loyalty." She spins her blade from one side to the other. "Fight me, little mousie," she jeers. "Oh, yes, I'm going to. Guiding bolt. Should be something I'm good at." "Yeah, boy?" The light crashes into the captain and she takes 8 damage. A dim, mystical light glitters over her searing wound. She lunges forward in retaliation. The DM rolls some dice. Her longsword cuts into your arm for 4 damage. I now have 7 out of 11 hit points. As you duck and weave, you find yourself in a spiral staircase leading upward. The captain jabs at you, forcing you to retreat up the stairs. I am going to run up the stairs and cast Shield of Faith. You run up the stairs and cast a protective spell. A shimmering field of light surrounds you, granting magical protection and a bonus to your defences. Good old clerics. The infuriated captain strikes out at you, but her blade clashes against your magical barrier, preventing any harm. Eventually, you both reach the top, which opens onto the battlements of a turret. Strike her down, or do I push her off the edge? Strike! Yes! The mace comes down over her head with a thunk. You deal 5 damage. She kneels, hobbled and bleeding from her brow. "So, I'm defeated. I guess that means I'll see you tomorrow then." Strange response. The sound of boots against stone approaches, and the chief of the watch comes into view, with several constables trailing shortly behind him. "I don't care what this is about, but this isn't how we handle disagreements." "Disagreements?" You scoff. "Yes, a simple disagreement," the chief declares with authority. "You're too important to the watch to throw out, but I'm relieving you of your duty, both of you. If you want to remain part of the City Watch, you're going to have to earn your positions back." "Yes, chief." The captain slumps and nods, defeated, as the chief tears a handful of decorations from her uniform. He turns to you. "And what do you have to say for yourself?" "I give my resignation." You resign from your post at the City Watch and look to turn a new page in your life as something else. Along the docks of the Black Lake District, you are able to find a haggard ship's captain by the name of Drowse, who agrees to ferry you to Dragon's Rest, the starter set again. You book passage for the next day, gathering your belongings, and then board the vessel. At dawn the next day, you set sail for your next adventure. On to adventure! Congratulations, adventurer. Your journey has concluded. Thank you for playing. Now let's see how you did. Huzzah! Here's what I did. I did some speed reading of forbidden knowledge. I threw a corrupt officer in the trash. I gave my resignation to the chief. Well, I mean, that was like one of those Final Fantasy books from the 80s. It isn't really how D&D is. It's set in the D&D world, but you can do anything. I could literally do anything in D&D, but it gives a slight hint at the majesty that is D&D. But there we go. Thank you for watching. Have a go on it yourself. Let me know how you go, and see you guys later.